Okay, so this is going to be my part 2 of this thing we're doing here with my first Seattle roommate. So I think where I left off was on this whole kitchen maintenance situation. So I moved in with her under the impression that she was just all natural and holistic, and when I ended up being stuck with her and like having to move in because, you know, I made the decision to move in with her, it's just like, oh well shit, I'm stuck, she's got a deposit for me and all this other stuff. Like I said, it was the old switcheroo. So that happened. All my clothes get faded that same day, so I've already got this sour ass taste in my mouth. We're staying together and everything, and her whole big thing was juicing. So she would juice and then I could like pick it up after. So when the first month that I moved in, it was all good. Like I said, she really didn't start showing her ass until later on down the line, and I'm glad that I kind of kept my financial situation to myself, because I feel like a big part of the reason why she started to change was because she felt like we needed her. And it's like, girl, I moved in with you to make the most of the money that I had saved to get. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to make the most of the situation. It wasn't like, you know, I got with her out of desperation or anything like that. She was the best of my prospects, in my opinion. But I mean, obviously that wasn't the case, right? So this kitchen, small kitchen, one window, because again, it's in a basement. What I found helped a lot of the time was, I hate to say it, like Lysol or bleach, as far as like getting rid of the fruit flies. So what I would do was, her and her son would go and see her ex-husband, who I assume is the father of her son, and they would go for days, long stretches at a time, and she'd always give me the heads up. So I always took that opportunity to just clean with normal shit, because it's like, you know, you're cleaning your kitchen counters with baking soda and lemon juice, but I also think the lemon juice might have had a lot to do with why you had the fruit flies in the first place. I think it would have made more sense to, like, you know, drop some drops of, you know, lemon juice, if that's what or zest or whatever she was using. Everything with her was always over the top. So she was like going the holistic route based on things that like one of these pseudo science doctors had told her. So she was like doing the bone marrow soup and everything. And don't get me wrong, like my family's African, so trust me, I know a lot of the old hometown. What I was finding was just, it's like, you say you're all natural, you say you're chemically sensitive and all this stuff, but yet and still her chemical sensitivity would come and go just depending on her mood, it felt like. So I remember the first time that I grocery shopped, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, like Marley likes hot Cheetos, you know, we get ramen on the days where, you know, I don't feel like making something and she just wants to microwave something, she can microwave ramen on her own, because I've raised my child to be independent. That's another thing, child. So yeah, the first time I like got groceries and, you know, had to stick them in the fridge, there was this big hubbub because the shit wasn't all natural. And it's just like, I hate to say it, you know, I have to eat. I don't eat the way that you do. You didn't say that that needed to be a requirement for me to live with you, so why the issue all of a sudden? And I remember her like telling me all this shit about what chemicals are in the food that I eat, but yet and still she's got this autistic son that she was treating naturally, and then she was treating all of her issues naturally, and she had been doing it for years. And I hate to say it, I've seen people that live like a holistic, all natural lifestyle and are oozing life and are oozing youthfulness as a result of kind of eating clean and taking really good care of themselves. And I think she just got caught up in a lot of pseudoscience, because like the stuff that she was into like didn't make sense. Like sometimes I got the vibe that she was doing the alkaline diet thing, other times I got the vibe that she was trying to be a raw vegan. Just she had a lot of different things going on at the same time. Coupled that with the fact that she was into the constellations, which is something that I didn't hear about or knew was a thing until I came out here. Something about your ancestors and the stars. I'm not exactly sure. I don't, you know, want to spread false information. That's just kind of what I heard in passing, but Just nothing made sense ever. And it's like some days the chemical sensitivity would be crazy sensitive to where it's like if I had been next to, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'd rubbed shoulders with or I hugged somebody who had on perfume, she was smelling on me. It got ridiculous. So needless to say, that started to put a wedge in kind of the cordialness in the house, because it's just like a day would never pass without her saying something about what I was eating, how I smelled or how my clothing smelled, or, you know what I'm saying, thoughts on my personal like hygiene products, cleaning products, whatever. And there might be people that watch the video and go, well, you didn't have to sit there and deal with that. And I didn't. I only ended up staying with the bitch for 4 months. And then I got the fuck on. It was just one thing after another thing after another thing. So what I also noticed when I was staying with her was, I think I said in the first video that her son was autistic. But here's the gag though. Becky had chosen to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of her son, her poor autistic son. But again, the gag was that this boy, and there's a spectrum, don't get me wrong, there's a very large spectrum that you can be on the autism scale there, but I never got the impression that he needed as much assistance as she was letting on. Like, she chose to homeschool him because she said that trying to put him in the public school system would only make his autism worse, which I don't see why socializing with other like-minded children could possibly be detrimental to him. I mean, even taking him to a group or two, because here's the thing. I didn't have that much money coming out here, and we were all on this conservation kick because I wasn't exactly sure where things were going. I wasn't even sure if I was going to end up going back to Atlanta. But, you know what I'm saying? It was warm out when I first moved in with her. I'm taking my daughter to the park. We're doing X, Y, and Z. We're hopping on the bus. The same things that you see in this vlog, we've been doing since we moved out here. And I just found it super interesting that she decided to treat him. Her way of treating him was, you know, to feed him all this stuff that she read these different books on, and to sit him in front of the computer with Minecraft. Like, the only social activity this kid got was through this game. And the sad thing about it is, he was an amazing artist. He was a really amazing writer. All of the opportunities that I did get to talk to her son, he was super eloquent, extremely sensitive, and just seemed like a real gentle soul. And it was heartbreaking because, you know, he would ask us for like snacks and food, and I would sneak him stuff from time to time, because it's like, there's nothing wrong with letting a kid have a cookie every now and then, or a piece of candy. Like, they're kids. Don't cheat them of certain things because you're suffering from, you know, a terrible case of Munchausen's, you know? And I really to this day feel that way, but unfortunately that wasn't my situation, and I've never been the type of person to make someone else's business my own. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this part. And yeah, there's so much more, like her body odor. Somebody tried to come at me in the comments of the last video too, talking about maybe it's because you stink. No, her chemical sensitivity, and just advisory notice to anybody who's potentially doing the roommate thing. If someone says they have a chemical sensitivity, it usually has to do with them being sensitive to perfumes, household cleaner smells, stuff like that. Not body odor, because there's a good chance that the person with the chemical sensitivity doesn't wear deodorant or doesn't partake in a lot of those chemicals because they're sensitive to the smell. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up because again, we're coming up on 10 minutes, and yeah, I'll see y'all in a couple days with the third part. But to all of y'all who decide to do the thing with these Craigslist folks to get a roomie, make sure you're doing it month to month. That's the one thing that I will say that I did when I was doing the roommate thing. I always made sure that I was month to month, so when it was time for me to get the hell on, I could do that and it wasn't gonna be an issue. So yeah, till later. Peace, positive people.